Cold beer here. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a little bit, but we're happy to talk about beer with you again. My name is Matthew Jaware, and I'm joined by co-host Tilly. What's happening?
We both had a lot going on in the last couple weeks, but I
Hmm.
had a nice long vacation at 11,000 feet. I released an episode. My dog is making a mess. Um, Released an episode while I was up there that I recorded by myself, and then got back, and Matt was still unavailable to record with me, so I released another one that I totally did not botch the editing of at all. Um, totally didn't. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. Happy to be talking with you again. How you doing?
Awesome. Can't complain, man. Just day by day, making sure that the doors are open, people can come in and drink beer. Have some. We have some production stuff happening today. We got a West Tampa Light that we launch
Mm,
tomorrow. 4.8%, yellowest, lightest, crispiest beer you can imagine.
it's perfect for this weather.
And we did a white label project for a local blueberry, strawberry, blackberry picking farm, Starkey's. Um, and so we made a blueberry seltzer, hard seltzer for them. And they took that up to the farm today. So that should be interesting. And yeah, other than that, man, can't complain about much. Just try to have a beer here and there when I can. What about you?
Yeah. I'm trying to have a beer here and there while I can. Give me 1 second to yell at my dog.
Hmm.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. Um, yeah, I may or may not edit that out. We'll see. I may just leave it in there.
Fucking
Um,
dogs.
I've been so there is a brewery in Fairplay, Colorado, which is where we own a cabin at. So where we were at about, and they brew at about, I think I said it's like 9,500 feet there. So, which I don't know if you're listening in Florida and you're at sea level, you have no idea a lot of the times if you've never been there about the different ways water boiling reacts at very high altitudes. So I actually was talking with the owner, and he sounds like he may be interested in coming on to be interviewed by us. So maybe hook that up for the future. He said he's real busy in June, so maybe later in July. And I was like, well, I don't get back until the end of June anyway, so we may interview him at some point about just challenges involved there. But they have some good beer, um, and it's cool locale. Get to drink it at
Nice.
9,500 feet. So
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis. They don't have elevation there, but went back to where my journey began and had a beer at 612. Was able to slide that in to
nice.
an otherwise quick and packed weekend. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, we uh, we got a few things to chat about tonight. We haven't
yeah.
haven't been able to. What's up next?
So let's stick to uh, beer related stuff since we were just talking about beer stuff. And I found this article about Dogfish Head. If you're into craft beer, you know about Dogfish Head. I mean, most people do anyway. um,
Yeah, turns out they're a bunch of jerks.
yeah, much like anyone, they're a bunch of jerks. Um, Much like it seems like literally every single brewery I've ever heard of.
Well,
Not
that's not true. There's 9,500 breweries.
so I'm saying the
A
big ones that I've heard of.
handful of them thought that their britches were bigger than they were. Apparently,
Hmm.
yeah, those
But
guys are huge.
yeah, but they are doing a docu series, and it's a nature docu series. So, and they're going to several different places. One of which is in Florida. Apparently, they opened a brewery in Florida, a location in Florida. I didn't know that until I read this article.
Yeah,
Um,
Miami. This is the old Concrete Beach location, I believe.
mhm. And so they're going to the Blowing Rocks Preserve on Jupiter Island, in Hobe Sound, Florida. about the coastal habitat restoration. So if you like nature documentaries, I do. I'm curious to see like why it's important that I watch one with a like I love brewers and I love breweries. I love talking to people about beer. I don't know if I need to cross mingle that into my nature documentaries, conservation documentaries or not, but I just thought that was a little bit interesting. So the reason why I really mentioned this is, um, are you, have you considered or are you ever considering doing, have you done something with like nature conservation stuff or raising money on those types of things? Is that something you would be interested in doing in the future? I'm always curious to see how these types of promotions kind of develop because clearly anyone can say, I'm going to do this, and then, you know, take some of them, take $1 from each beer sold and donate it to a nature conservation or, you know, abused women shelters or whatever they want to do, children. Um, done stuff like that.
No, we've donated a bunch of stuff to different places. We do meat raffles. We haven't done one in a little bit,
Well,
but
we talked about those.
we donated proceeds in the last two, um, and what we want to do a seafood raffle.
I remember that.
And I've got a buddy that's on the board of a conservation group here, that is around fisheries, and so we had planned to team up with them when we get to that. Tough
That
part about
stage.
that is finding a vendor that
Yeah.
wants to showcase their product. You know, that stuff. A lot the good places, the shit comes and goes, and they
They're
don't
like,
need
we don't
anybody's
need to
help.
promote anything because it's already selling perfectly fine without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place here on Dale Mabry that does a nice job, and they're, accessible for a bunch of people, so they may have interest. But yeah, we, I would love to be able to be, I would love to be greener, generally speaking. Um, but the water is so bad here that you got to use RO to make good beer, and so you're rejecting a whole bunch of that. Can't really save it because we don't have the resources to do that,
Yeah.
and I don't exactly know what I would want that for, other than like using it to water the patio side. But we don't need that much freaking water to water a few palm trees.
Yeah.
We're stuck right in the middle of urban Tampa, so we don't have a lot of that.
Not
Um,
as much stuff that just needs to be watered outside of y'all's place. I know for sure.
Yeah, solar panels. We've talked about it a lot. It'd be awesome to have our brewery run on solar. We have a great roof for it,
Yeah.
but that's also super expensive. And
Yeah. That's something
we
you
were
gotta reach the point where you're.
months after opening, we were put in a meat grinder, and none of that shit is on the top of the priority list, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, mostly just out of curiosity because I know like being a brewery, breweries get approached all the time and approached in the opposite direction. I was curious how often it's you being approached to do this type of stuff versus the opposite. Um,
Mostly, we're just approached to give stuff away to people.
yeah, that's the way most people want to approach other people about
Yeah.
stuff for. But um, the other one, the next thing I wanted to talk about, and it was this article I found it on Brew at the a Twitter account called Brew Dispatch. They tweet out a lot of articles, so I've been reading a lot of their articles. And this one's on beerandbrewing.com. It's about quality control is critical to the success of craft brewing, which seems pretty obvious, but a lot of what they're talking about is like the packaging and stuff. And we've talked a lot about labels and packaging and what draws a consumer's eye and everything. Um, and clearly, this has been a big deal for a while. And I have talked about it with a lot of people about how I select and choose what beers I'm actually wanting to drink on any beer trip. Um, it's about the labeling and the packaging of stuff. Um, it's kind of weird to me that just now having like these articles be um, written up about this kind of stuff. Um, but um, I just wanted to mention that there's nothing really more to say about that. I know how important, everyone knows how important advertising and having a look that stands out and is unique to your brewery or your business in general. Um, I
So
just think
is the article about QC
it's
or
it's
about
it's
the
kind of it's kind
branding?
of about it's mostly about the branding and the packaging, and then it gets into some of the well, like uh, types of way the beer is actually being physically packaged. And they do some quality control about beer, but it's like a paragraph and a half. I'll post
Oh,
out the link to it if you're interested in reading this kind of stuff. Is like inside the industry kind of thing. Um, uh, but yeah, um, thoughts. I mean, beyond just, I guess, like everyone knows the label's important. And do you do any like extra packaging, cardboard boxes or anything, or do you just do the plastic ring like for beer holder type of things and let the label speak for itself?
yeah, that's it. I mean, they go in case trays to
Hmm.
be transported and whatnot. So it's a lot easier to count and pack that way. But
Yeah,
those aren't. Some people do branding on those too because they often sit in coolers at liquor stores.
that's
But
true. I've got a bunch of them
um,
just sitting around too.
I don't. We don't spend the extra money on that. Um, it, the way that cans are, cans have become the norm for packaging in our industry, and that used to not be the case. Really, not that long ago, probably 10 years ago, it wasn't. Um, and there's a lot of good about that as it pertains to
Hmm.
the quality of the liquid. So that's one. Little tricky. Make sure that your dissolved oxygen is correct and when you're packaging. But from a marketing and branding standpoint, there's really no comparison. Nobody pack. What would be dope is if somebody did 12-ounce bottles and the whole bottle was branded. That'd be badass.
Be cool.
Nobody does that. I mean, they do it in the aluminum bottles,
Yeah,
that are out now, but those are actually pretty expensive to buy.
I figured they
Um,
had kind of had to be.
but yeah, the canning allows for you to do as good a job as you want on branding or not.
Labels.
There's some
Yeah,
breweries out there that just put like half-ass stickers on their cans, and I see them at liquor stores. And uh, you know, if
yeah.
if it's working, it's working. But I don't have a lot of respect for that.
No, I kind of feel like if you're too maybe lazy is not the right word, lackadaisical, whatever words you want to use. If you're too lazy to put your efforts into at least some effort, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel and go the route of some of the ones that have just truly fantastic can art that's just truly unique to their brand. Um, but you can put a little effort into it. I'm like you could say, well, maybe they were just putting all their effort into the beer. It's like they're separate. Like you can put a lot of effort into the beer and still come up with something nice. I like what y'all have done with your labels. They're cohesive in that the basic theme is all together. The colors change, and obviously the name changes depending on what beer's in it. But so you can always tell if it's one of your beers, but it's still interesting to look at to the eye, and it
They're different.
you don't
They're still
yeah
different, but whose it is. I
yeah
mean, that's the
exactly
goal. You need to train people to understand what your look is so that
yeah
they don't even care what it says really when they recognize it. If they like it, they're gonna
yeah.
get it.
And the thing I do like about y'all is just like if I see that deep, you know, purplish, blackish purple color, I know what one of y'all's beer that is without even having to read the label. Um,
Hmm.
so if you've had it before and you can just recognize it real quick, you don't even have to look, you can just grab.
It's gonna be hard to have all different colors
Oh yeah,
forever.
for sure. At some point, you're going to be running into like the dark browns and stuff, and you're going to be like, it's time to reuse some old colors.
Oh yeah, well we got a brown coming out that's perfect for a rum barrel aged
Okay.
brown ale. So it was like
Okay.
it's
As
how
long
you
as it
use it.
fits.
Yeah. we try to make it fit, but eventually it's just got to be something
Yeah, there's going to be some
different.
repeats at some point, but hopefully you get to far enough away and maybe you haven't made a specific beer in a little while and you can like reuse the color for something that also kind of fits that color scheme. But anyway,
Yeah,
but obviously there's a limit, but it's a cohesive brand. That's what I'm saying, really, which is the more
yeah. We
important
we
part.
just really took our first sort of um, deviation from that with the West Tampa Light. It's not a person's name. It's um, and the can is actually it's got the same background design, but the can's actually yellow and it doesn't have the bar around the bottom, and the writing
Interesting.
is red. It's shrink wrap, so it's really sharp. It looks like an old school yellow beer can.
I love it. I love it. Be like a Miller High Life can.
Yeah, I mean that's hope. We hope that we hope people jump on it. We're gonna sell them for $10 a 4 pack. They're gonna
Right.
be w- w- we sold we're s- we're selling them pricing wise to the distributor to be right around there at retail. There's going to be some little bougie spots that are going to make it 11 or 12, but um,
Yeah.
it's 4.8%, and it's I feel like the can is a representative of what the beer is. And for the first time, it's just a little bit different for us than what's normal.
Can't wait to try it.
You'll look at it, you'll still be able to see it, like you'll still know because the writing's in the same
Like type
fashion.
type of
The logo is still down there where it usually is, but yeah, it's definitely different.
okay. I like doesn't hurt to change things up a little
No, some
bit,
people do
but
that. Some people shit, dude. You look at their cans and you don't have any idea which ones. They could be a group of four of them, and they're all theirs, and they all look wildly different. So
yeah.
that's not. I
Um
can't. I can't do that. That's
gotta have at least a little consistency, right?
yeah. Synergy and consistency is important.
Well, I just sent you this article because I just came across it with a quick Florida man search right before we actually got on. I just forgot to look at the results. Remember, we talked about a couple weeks ago, might have been the last episode we actually recorded together, the Florida man who got bit on the head by an alligator. Remember that
Oh
one?
yeah. Oh yeah.
He found the GoPro he was wearing at the time has now been recovered. So if you
Uh,
desire, you can actually watch the couple-minute long video of this GoPro after it got dragged off set. You can also see the giant scar and stitches on the side of his head if you're
really.
interested to see the size of this bite on his head.
Well, I definitely saw the. I remember talking about it, and I remember the bite,
Yeah,
um, or the staples
yeah,
mark that he needed.
it's
But yeah, that's
it's pretty
crazy.
intense, but you can see it. I'm sure there's probably more of it than on this news article that I'm looking at, Fox 35 Orlando website, and most of it's just underwater, which oddly enough is kind of like the color of some of these older like kind of like amber ales. So if you want to relate this to beer, there you go. It kind of looks like beer underwater. Um, but yeah, I just as a little follow up. Very very infrequently do we get to follow up on a Florida man story, and for once, this was just at the top. It was just posted 9 hours ago, so happened to search on the right day.
And the video, wait, did did they post the video that actually shows him getting bitten?
It's hard to tell exactly when because here it's about
I can't
23
imagine. I
seconds
bet he's
in.
gonna. I wouldn't let that go unless I was making a bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the point where he gets like attacked because the water goes all nutso and everything, but it's very murky underneath, and then you just see the camera just get pulled off and go further away from him, and then it drops down to the bottom. So I don't know if there's more of it. I'm gonna try to look it up when I get the chance and see if I can see if there's more than just this like 20-30 seconds that they posted. You know,
That's
you know
crazy
how the
shit, man.
news posts up videos. They'll post this tiny little section of it, and then you're like, well, where's the rest of this? Can you post like a link to the whole video, or at least
Do you
what you
think
have
that
of
guy
it?
can drink beer now? He's got that massive scarring on his head. Do you think he can have beer?
I don't know. I mean,
I would
I
need
don't know.
some.
Um, I don't know. I have to ask him. I mean, probably not while he's on like all these painkillers. It'd probably be a bad idea, but at some point you'd think he's going to make his way back to the bar once it's more healed up with this giant scar on his head and just rake in, free drinks.
The
Be
free
like,
drinks,
hey,
got to.
for a free drink, I'll tell you about the time I got bit on the head by an alligator.
Yeah, they
It's like one
better.
of the
That dude better not pay for drinks for a long time.
no. I if I saw him, I'd definitely be buying him some drinks.
Well, we got. I ran track in high school and so I tend to love and follow it, dude. This kid from Tampa, who's turned 17 in January, and went right down the street here, Hillsborough High School, is going to the Olympics and ran an incredibly fast. He broke all Usain Bolt's records, under 20 records.
Nice.
He's 17 years old. He's not even a senior in high school. He's never going to be a senior in high school because he went pro. And he's 6'3" or 6'4", and is just
Blazing
sort
fast.
of finding his way and doing it at an elite speed is really, really cool. He ran the last 4 200-meter dashes that he ran were all faster than the one before. And 1984 is flying. And this dude hasn't even begun to like
Get full on training.
weight train
Yeah.
or like any of
Well,
that.
and at that age, like the body isn't even like fully matured and to what it could be.
No,
like
he's got 10 years based on the typical data. Our physical peaks are 27. And and most of that is because you get the time to build. You still have your testosterone levels. You have time to build a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that for these guys is lasting longer than that now too, because of science and
Wow.
stuff.
What's his name?
Terrian Knighton. It's like he can't even run out of the blocks or the curve. He just starts running later, and like he's going to be incredible when he gets training. He's in the next Olympics he's going to be fucking 21 years old. He's going to run in this one. It'd be cool. I think he'll make the finals. That's got to be his goal, is to make the finals. But someone like that, you never know, man. He just keeps getting faster. It's a pretty cool story.
Faster and faster. Wow. Well, you brought up track and field. We have another track and field story. Everyone's really been talking about this all day today. That Sha'Carri Richardson, probably you've seen her. There was a lot of people very upset about her long nails and all this other stuff when she ran. She tested positive in the marijuana test. So she tested positive and has been suspended 30 days. And she accepted the penalty. And, I mean, not that she had much of a choice, but she could have raised a fuss about it, I suppose. But she tested positive, and so she won't be able to run the 100 meter, which she, in the Olympic trials, she ran the 100 meter in 10.86 seconds, which is pretty quick.
Yeah, it's funny. I still have a personal best faster 200 time than the women's world record and 400 time, but not the 100. These women are flying.
Yeah.
And like a 10-8 for anybody is absolutely flying. And this broad is tiny. So
yeah, she's like 5'3" or something like that.
The science on her turnover and how many, essentially how many steps she's going to take is incredible, man. Yeah, She is
She's a
an
beast.
athletic freak for sure.
Yeah, she's one of those. Yeah,
But I will say, Shakari, you can't if you know the program, you can't smoke pot. I don't know what else to tell you. And an
Yeah.
anti-doping agency, what I'd tell you is it's stupid that you have pot on your banned substances list. It's not a performance enhancing drug, and that is out of control. But
yeah,
I know it is on there. Everybody knows it. Nobody else tested positive for marijuana in the Olympic trials that medaled, correct?
not that I've seen, and if they are, they're very under the radar because she's such a big name. But
Well, yeah, she won the
you'd have you'd have to think that if there were, they would at least have been mentioned in conjunction with this one, because there's always those taglines of so and so, the big name,
yeah,
blah blah blah, and then these other people were also.
Well, I just saw these other athletes like whining about it with her, and I'm just like, there isn't any accountability. Okay, this is a problem. All right, this has nothing to do with the validity of that drug being on the list. It doesn't. You are responsible for the choices that you make, and when you are having an opportunity to go to the Olympics and you know that you're going to get drug tested, you don't do the things that are on the list.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I honestly, I can't. And I read her statement. It's excuses, and everybody's got tough lives. You know what? She's a gold medalist in the Olympic trials. Trust me, people out there got tougher lives than she does. Okay. But I'm not discounting that she's gone through things, but so is everyone else. It's not an excuse. I don't know what else to say. And like, I'm not trying to be rude because I hate the rule too. But dude,
it's the Olympics.
What are you gonna like? You make the choice to do that. You did that. No one else did that, and it's not anybody else's fault, and it's not stupid. What's stupid is knowing the rules and then deciding you're not going to follow them.
Yeah. I mean, the Olympics happen once every 4 years, so obviously it's known when, and when the Olympic trials are going to be, so about when you should stop any of these types of things.
The training is ridiculous. Honestly, the tapering, the pre-race races, like honestly, I know there's time to get high before you go to bed, and I know that's probably therapeutic I think, I don't know how many times I have to say it's stupid that the rule has that ban. Okay.
Yeah.
But it is banned. And if it was me, and I'd find a different way to go to sleep if I had to, because I'm trying to make the fucking Olympics, and that's sort of a one in a lifetime program for a bunch of people.
Yeah. I mean, she's only 21, so hopefully she takes this and learns about, just not doing that again in the future. She'll have plenty of Olympics ahead of her. I know some people are going to be possibly upset because of how stupid. Yeah, and I agree. But it's the Olympics. It's 120 something countries. Some of them have some form of legalized marijuana on a national level. Some of them, like us, have regional differences in what they consider legal for marijuana. And some of them, you will go to prison for 25 years.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line being walked by the IOC when it comes to some of this recreational type of thing. And,
but what is it? It's banned. They're saying that they said that it's a performance enhancing drug. I mean, that's a lie.
It's not. But I don't know what they're going off of. Is it because
sidebar? Can I make an admission here?
Yes, I won't tell anybody.
The first 300-meter hurdle race I ever ran on a varsity track team, I got really high at lunch. And I told, I don't know how many people, I think a couple of my friends might know that. And it didn't quite wear off, but it wore off enough that I could, do what I needed to do.
Try to go out there and do what you needed to do.
I did win that race, but I could never hurdle for shit, and it didn't help me hurdle better for sure. So
So we have some
So
firsthand.
this is qualitative. This is qualitative analysis, right?
Yes.
It didn't help me, and so therefore
Doesn't
this
help
is
anybody.
right. Gosh, I just remembered this, man. I can't even believe that's so funny. That's so funny. But guess what? I didn't get drug tested. I was never going to get drug tested, and had I known that I was going to get drug tested, it's a good chance I wouldn't have done it. And I was 16,
Yeah.
16.
I mean, she'll learn
Shakari,
from it.
you gotta do better.
She'll learn from it. There's still, according to that, if the 30-day ban is backdated to when the test, I guess, results initially came back or whatever the case was, she could still potentially. My dog's very weird.
Run the 4x1.
She could still run the 4x100. So if she's,
it probably makes sense. It probably makes sense because someone's going to replace her, so there's going to be 3 runners. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I would do because she's got to travel for the 4x1. Because normally, relays are made up of folks that are running in other races. They could easily pull in one or two of the 200-meter runners to do it. But considering personally that I hate the rule and that she could get outside that 30 days, if I was making the calls, I'd probably bring her because she has been through a lot and she won the damn race.
Yeah, and so, she's fast as hell. So, yeah, I agree. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Hopefully they do, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But so the last thing to discuss, and maybe I should have tossed this in at the end of the Florida Man because it's almost like an honorary Florida Man thing. This is just a tweet. I don't see an article. This could very well not be true. I don't know. But I like the headline anyway. It says Alabama man arrested for attacking neighbor with shovel after neighbor allegedly tells him that Busch Light tastes like water. So,
well, I'd say that neighbor needs to refine his palate.
I mean, if you don't
Busch
like
Light is the best. Busch Light is the best domestic light beer there is.
If you don't like a Busch Light on a nice hot day when you're just sitting outside or you've just mowed the lawn, I mean, not everything has to be, a microbrewery brew.
Oh yeah, but damn well the neighbor's not drinking any of that.
I mean, I don't know.
What town is this in Alabama?
It didn't say. It just said Alabama, man. So I'll have to look it up further and see if it's actually a true story or not. But either way, it makes for a good headline and a good tagline and something totally believable. And if you replaced Alabama with Florida in every part of that, I would have been like, yep, definitely a real story.
Yeah, people need to be nicer. There's all these beers for all of us to drink. Don't be rude to people about what they're drinking. That's for us to do on this show.
let people drink what they want. It doesn't matter unless you're going to be the one buying all their alcohol. So
I'd prefer that you bought beers that, like at least Busch Light. That's like a real beer. I mean, it's been around a long time. It's a real style.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I buy Busch Light when I buy my light beers. I buy a Busch Light. So anyway, so I think that's about all we have for you. If you want to see something interesting, check out that the Gulf of Mexico is on fire. I'll leave that to you to search up, but it should not be hard to find.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Opening up out of the center of the earth. Possibly a Pacific Rim type of thing going on. It could all be a cover up by the government, just saying it's a oil pipeline thing, and they're trying to fight giant monsters out there. I don't know. Anyway,
man, we're T-minus 1 month from the Bay Canyon anniversary party weekend. We will have Fooder beers with 2 years Solera liquid in it. We will have rum barrel-aged brown ales. We'll have hazy IPAs. We'll have barrel-aged sours, barrel-aged like cocktail sours. They're gonna be dope. We will have. We're working on this, and I hope to have it a tattoo artist in the building on Sunday giving tattoos.
Oh,
And
interesting.
we're going to do drag queen bingo on Friday night, July
Wow.
30th. That's always a riot. Stephanie is the bomb. She crushes it. And then Saturday, we're going to do a little jazz, I think.
Oh, nice. I'll have to get all these dates from you
Yeah.
and write them out in the tweet when we drop this episode so that we can
Well,
get the full
well, this
schedule
is
out
like
there.
we'll probably have a couple more episodes before then. So this is that like put it in your back pocket,
Like,
and then
got to get the
we'll
dates so that people have it in their mind, and then as we get
That's right.
closer, talk about it further. All right. Well, it was nice being back on the show. Um,
yeah, we should do it again.
yeah, we'll do it again soon. And we're gonna do a beer tasting one here shortly. So
All right,
thanks
sounds
for listening. Check us out on Twitter and follow the new Bay Cannon Instagram account,
Jesus
which got
Christ.
hacked and taken over. They've got a new one. Why don't you tell them what the new Instagram account is called so that they can go follow?
Yeah, the handle is Bay Cannon Beer Company at Bay Cannon Beer Company. It's just
Yeah.
at Bay Cannon Beer Company. It used to be Bay Cannon Beer. Somebody hacked it and stole it, deleted it. All the followers are gone. Then we went with Bay Cannon Beer Co. 24 hours later, they zapped that one too. So that was gone. And we were wondering what the hell is going on. And so we continued to change things up, and it looks like this one might stick. So
Let's see. All right. Anyway, that's it's you gotta love living in a high tech world, huh?
yeah, it is what it is. Well, hey, everybody out there, go grab a cold beer, huh?
Go drink a Bush
All
Bush
right.
Light.
All right. Cheers.